Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is DarkPhoenix Gaming, and welcome to my 2020 year in review. And I am fully aware this video is being uploaded in 2021. Basically, another consequence of the fact I have really slow internet at home, and the library I used to use to upload all my videos is still closed to most of the public. Thanks for that, coronavirus. Really fucking appreciate it. Anyways, this year has been interesting, to put it mildly, and not really in a good way. Sadly, unlike a lot of people, I haven't been able to ramp up the amount of content because of the whole isolation thing. I tried to at first, but just didn't work out for a variety of reasons, and I've actually ended up producing less content, or at least less has made its way onto the channel. I've recorded a whole boatload of series that are sitting on my hard drive waiting to get uploaded because I can only get about 2-3 videos up in a week now that I'm using my home internet, as opposed to before when I could get about 60 up in a day at that particular library. But since we are at the beginning of a new year, I figure it might make for a good time to talk about my channel and how things have changed and such over the course of the year. Now, I can't give you any actual raw numbers for 2020. I don't think. Actually, that's a lie. Lucky for me, I have my analytics open right now so I can check it. So we'll start with the raw numbers. In 2020, we clocked in 12,000 views, roughly, on the entire channel, and 846 hours of watch time, and gained apparently 18 subscribers. I'm currently right now sitting at 181 subscribers. I had hoped to reach 200 by the end of 2020, but that just didn't pan out. I'm assuming the reduction in the number of videos that I'm uploading from 5 a week to 1 a week had something to do with that. That's my best guess, in any case. But I still had fun with a lot of what I actually did this year, and that's the important bit, right? Despite the fact that we are hugely down in the numbers in every category, I never really started this channel for the purpose of gaining views or becoming popular or anything. I'm a realist in that regard. I fully accept that this channel is probably never going to make it to the point where it's an actual job for me. But I'm still gonna keep on doing it where I have the spare time. But let's move on to actual tangible accomplishments in terms of the series I did. We'll start with YouTube, and then I will move on to Twitch, although there is a bit of an overlap here. So, I've finished my third Odyssey Back to the Motherland series this year, which, if you don't remember what that is, the brief synopsis is that it's an alternative history mod for Europa Universalis 4, where I play as the Byzantine Empire, but we abandon Europe and flee to America, and set ourselves up there. I finished that series, although I never did get to the point of actually attempting a reconquest of our homelands, or anything. That never really happened. And we'd gotten to the point where, in that series, where I wasn't going to be able to accomplish anything without it turning into a massive war that I would get my ass kicked completely and utterly in. So I did end the series with some things unresolved. And it's worth mentioning that the final episode of that series, where I actually explained this stuff and all, that was lost due to some problems with a hard drive. So that's not up on the channel. That was a fun series though, and I definitely plan to revisit Back to the Motherland at some point. It is a very fun mod, and I haven't played enough Europa Universalis 4 really. I always come back to it every now and again, but never really stick around for any length of time. That and Mayu and Taxes are the two things you're likely to see series on in the future. But moving on from Third Odyssey, I finally finished Baldur's Gate 2. That was a game that I had started back in 2019 at the tail end of the year, and I basically started playing Baldur's Gate 2 immediately after Baldur's Gate 1. Even though I said I wanted to take a little break, the Baldur's Gate bug had kind of bitten me at that point, and I was really starting to love that series, so I just had to carry on. And really, that Let's Play, I had so much fun playing Baldur's Gate 2. I'm definitely going to go back and replay the Baldur's Gate series at some point. And I still have plans to finish Throne of Ball, because I still have my saves for Baldur's Gate 2, although some of them are still on a hard drive I've not managed to access yet. So there's likely to be a little bit of time before that's possible. However, I do plan to do Throne of Ball and finish out Toby's story. Although things will be a little different when I finally do that Let's Play, for reasons that are to do with things I am aware of about the plot of Throne of Ball, so I won't say them here for fear of spoilers. The next thing that we saw cap off was Morrowind Volume 1. Mervis Thyrano's story in Volume 1 finished, with us taking command of the Morag Tong by slaying its leader in single combat. And man, the actual stories that came out of my Morrowind Let's Play were amazing. I loved that. And honestly, I used to think Skyrim was my favorite Elder Scrolls game, but after spending all the time I did on that Let's Play in Morrowind, I think that game has definitely taken the favorite spot, without a doubt. But since then, we've come up with some problems with Morrowind, and it looks like it's likely to be the case that there just will not be a Volume 2. Because I've been running into a whole host of errors that keep popping up, despite the fact that this is using all the same save games and mods and everything. So it looks like something's gone buggy and error-like. I'm still gonna see if I can't fix it, but I may have to cancel the continuation of Morrowind and just restart it. Although if I do have to restart, I have some interesting ideas on how I could tie a new Morrowind series into the story of this one and make Mervis, this is story one that has some continuity, basically. it's something worth exploring at any rate. Next on our list is Free Space. I played and finished the Free Space Port mod this year, which it's basically Free Space 1, but in the or Descent Free Space, as it's traditionally known, or whatever, in the Free Space 2 engine, which is a lot better, from what I can tell, and actually lets me use my joystick for the control stuff, unlike Descent Free Space, which seems to demand mouse and keyboard or nothing. I had a lot of fun with that. I haven't played a whole lot of fighter sims, because seriously, Free Space is basically a fighter sim in space. I haven't played a lot of those games, so this was a welcome break. But in terms of views, it didn't actually do that well. In general, I think I had like 2 or 3 views for every single video total. No exceptions. So while I'm not focusing on views, Free Space seems to be not that popular on my channel, so I don't know if I'll continue on with that. I might do some of the Free Space 1 DLC and then Free Space 2, but I might also just let this drop and do those in my own time. I have not actually decided yet. After that, we hit up on Mountain Blade Warband, which I played in a couple of iterations this year, but this one was with the Flores Expanded mod. This was a bit of a mini-series with my character, Rose, who I played as wanting to annihilate the Kurgic Khanate. And it ended up being, like I said, more of a mini-series than a proper series, due to a couple of different factors. The primary one of which is the fact that the Kurgic Khanate, basically, they ended up getting destroyed, more or less, by the surrounding factions. And there was no point in continuing on since I'd already achieved that goal, and I had set destroy the Kurgits as my endgame goal early on, so I didn't want to just keep moving the goalposts again and again and again to get more life out of the series. I felt like I had set my goal and I should stick to it. So I did just that. And we ended up concluding the series there. Although, I originally was planning on doing an epilogue video where I wrapped up some of the loose threads, but ended up not bothering with that because midway through making that, I switched my editing software from Sony Vegas to Adobe Premiere Pro, which just meant I'd have to do the whole thing over again, and I was basically too lazy to bother with that, and so I never made that epilogue video. I may still do that at some point, but I honestly think I probably won't. After that, we have the first little bit of crossover we'll be seeing between the live streaming and YouTube side of things, because we have Diablo 1, which I originally started as a stream series over on Twitch, but due to some stuff that was going on at the time, I was able to record YouTube videos and get them up at that moment in time with a bit more reliability than I could stick to streams. And so, I ended up, after my first live stream, which went horribly wrong, I will add, due to some issues on Twitch's end and encoding errors that just occurred for no reason whatsoever, as far as I can tell, I ended up just recording the rest of that as YouTube videos. And they were actually fairly short. It was actually a fairly short series. I think it might have been like maybe 15 episodes max, which is definitely short for me given that my usual series run about 50 to 60 episodes for the especially long ones. But still, that was a lot of fun, and I definitely have Diablo Hellfire, the expansion for Diablo 1, on my list of things that I want to play sometime in 2021. Following that, we finished Mass Effect 2, which I'd had going on for a long time. However, I had started and stopped that a few times, but Mass Effect 2 has been both finished being recorded and being uploaded. And in fact, we uploaded the final video of Mass Effect 2 just last week. So that was literally a last minute, barely made it into this video type of finished thing. But man, oh man, Mass Effect 2. Even despite the amount of whining that I did, mostly tongue-in-cheek, about some of the ridiculous plot elements in that game, I still enjoy that tremendously, and it remains my favorite of the Mass Effect trilogy. Now, I also began a Let's Play of Prophecy of Pendor, which is a custom world mod for Mount & Blade Warband, and really it's one of the best fantasy worlds that I've ever experienced, and the fact it comes from a mod is even better. This is like the Nerem at Fate's Edge of Warband, just much more open-ended and the usual you make your own story thing that's going on with Mount & Blade. This series, however, after hitting about 6 episodes, I had some hard drive issues, and my save games became bugged, and whenever I tried to load them, it would give me an error message and the game would crash to desktop. So what I ended up doing is I restarted that series over on Twitch, and I'm currently doing it as a live stream, but actually making the conscious effort to switch it up into episodes. So I will do my YouTube hello and goodbye, and then the usual interacting with chat and things is how I'm doing things for that at this moment. And it's a lot of fun. Definitely, I'm getting some enjoyment out of it, to be sure. We have also caught the live stream up to where the YouTube videos originally were as well. The next thing I want to mention, which this both is and isn't a 2020 thing. I started doing Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and I actually finished recording it a long while back, and got it edited not too long ago. But I haven't been able to put it up because I was waiting until Mass Effect 2 finished. As a result, by this point, I have Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed and Revelations, both finished, being recorded and edited. And the reason it's taken me until just now to get to uploading Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is again because of the fact that I'm only able to upload sufficient content to put up one video a week at this moment, due to the library closure thing I mentioned before. As a result, the first episode of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood only hit this channel about an hour and a half ago today. So that is very new, and while it was recorded in 2020, it was not uploaded in 2020, so I was a little bit iffy about whether or not I should include it. But now, we'll hit a couple of the live stream exclusive things before wrapping this up. I did a couple of attempts at streaming Stellaris. Back when the Federation's expansion came out, I started a series with one of my older empires that I've had in Stellaris for a long time, the United Earth Federation. Basically, I took the name of the quote-unquote bad guys from Supreme Commander and made them into the Star Trek Federation, just with a cooler name, or one I liked better. And I played as that for a stream or two, but that series ended up being unfinished, as I dropped off it for a while, and by the time I got back, everything had been updated to the point where my save was completely unusable. I'll probably go back to Stellaris eventually, in fact, almost certainly, once they drop this new espionage expansion that they're currently teasing on the updates. Oh, good googly moogly, am I looking forward to that. But that won't be for a while yet, thanks to the Paradox staff currently being on vacation. I mean, how dare they take a vacation rather than working on video games for me to play, right? The utter cheek of it. That was a joke, in case that wasn't clear. But, next off, I started streaming Age of Mythology, and I'm actually almost done with that. I've just hit the Norse section, which means we have, I'd say, about 10 missions or thereabouts left on that game. And for those of you who remember, I had an Age of Mythology Let's Play that I had going on for a while. This was back in my college days when I had university internet that I could use to upload things, which isn't the case anymore. But that particular Let's Play eventually ended because I had some problems crop up with regards to graphical issues due to me trying to play a game that was designed for Windows XP on Windows 10, essentially. But I resumed that in 2020, and I've gotten nearly done with it. That's been a ton of fun. And we have just 2 more things on my list. Then I will be through. So, Kaiserreich. Those of you that have been following this channel for a while now will probably not be surprised by this fact, but I'm a bit of a Kaiserreich fanboy. Hence why I've probably done more Kaiserreich series than I have series in any other game on this channel. Which isn't really that hard, to be fair, given the fact that most games I only play once on the channel, and that's it. At least at this moment in time. Mountain Blade being the distinct exception at the moment. But Kaiserreich I've played at least 5 times, if not more, both live streams and standard Let's Plays. Both the Darkest Hour version of Kaiserreich and the new one for Hearts of Iron 4. But this past year, I attempted to resume a Kaiserreich Let's Play very recently, near the end of the year-ish, but ran into some problems. It turned out that I picked a very bad time to start attempting that, because the developers released an update that added a ton of new content, but broke save games, and they added that just as I made to start a series with the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies. And I will tell you this, although I'll probably restart this one at some point. I did try and record a Let's Play series with the Netherlands also at one point, although that never saw the light of day due to this same problem. But essentially what happened with the Two Sicilies thing is there were like 3 separate occasions. I started a series, and then the developers released a patch that fixed some problems there were in the existing version, but those patches all broke save games, so if you tried to load up with a game from a previous version, Hearts of Iron 4 would crash. And also, while I did have the option that I could have potentially just downloaded an older version of the mod and run with that, I didn't really want to do that because I like playing with new stuff, so I just kept on restarting, and I think I restarted the Two Sicilies run 3 times, or I eventually decided that I would just put Kaiserreich on the back burner for a while until the mod, almost called it a game there, because to be fair, Kaiserreich is basically a brand new game, decided to put it on the back burner until the updates had stabilized a little bit and they weren't consistently releasing patches that broke saves. And it's reached that point now, but for various personal life reasons, just due to the fact that I can only upload or stream at one time because of internet bullshit, I'm not really in a position to live stream at this exact moment. I sort of swap back and forth between streaming and Let's Playing right now. Not that I have much choice. But that is Kaiserreich. Now, on to the final thing that I did this year, which the last thing I did was I streamed the version of Halo Reach in the Master Chief Collection over on Steam live on Twitch. Over the course of 2 streams, I played the entire game, and it was a massive amount of fun. I have had something of a Halo love affair ever since I was a little kid. Halo was like the first or second FPS game that I ever played, and remains to this day one of the few FPSs that I actually like, because generally most shooters I'm not a big fan of, just because I like story and narrative and things, and most shooters are just high action, guns, bang bang bang, explosions, blam, etc, etc, which doesn't really do it for me. There are a few exceptions, like Halo, as I said, and bizarrely enough, Borderlands, but for the most part, I don't really like shooters, in most cases. But when Halo came out on PC, I really wanted to stream it, but at the time Halo Reach released, the version I was playing, I'm not sure if everyone had this problem, but there were some pretty severe audio glitches where the audio would mute itself, go out of sync and everything. But at some point in between the release of Halo Reach on Steam and the release of Halo 4, that was fixed because during my whole playthrough, I did not have a single audio problem. Not a one. Not a one. So, not only did I stream Halo Reach, but I recorded the VODs, and I have the entire series fully edited into about 6 or 7 videos. And at some point, Halo Reach is going to go up on my YouTube channel as a Let's Play in 2021, when I find the time to actually do that. So that's the last thing. Anyways, that'll about do it for this year. We didn't really have as many tangible accomplishments as last year, but honestly, I think given how much of a mess everything's been, that's really just par for the course for 2020. So, here's to 2021 being a better year than 2020. See you next time, everybody.